This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Stop and start. Okay, guys. Hope you can see my screen. Before moving at one question, anyone any idea what exactly the Azure function is, or what is function, guys? Sharon, Vipin, Sharif, Gafar. Anyone any idea what is function? No. Good.
Basically, we are monitor and analyzing the code in Azure function.
No. Function, guys, reusable code. Is it related to development? Function is related to development. For example, suppose I'm planning to use a common code, a code multiple times in the same project than what normally people can create. People can create a function. For example, I'm going to create a function. Okay, function name is calculator. Okay, calculator, and suppose what I'll do, I will pass two parameter, integer I and integer j. What I'll do here, whatever the input I will receive, okay, and one more variable I'm going to create, integer result equals to I plus j. Suppose, guys, this is your function. So whenever anyone is going to use in future, whenever anyone is planning to add two number, so what they can do, they have to call this parameter calculator and just pass, suppose 33 and 45. So what they will get result as a output. Whatever the result will be, they will get as output. Means no need to write the code again. Just go write the code once, and later on, whenever required, just go and reuse. So this is the way normally developers are in scripting. Admins are writing the functions. So function means just a small piece of code that you can reuse. Clear? Here in cloud computing, what Microsoft did, Microsoft launched a service called as Azure Functions. Normally, it's used by developers. Sometimes it's used by developers and architects also. If you are working as a developer or you are a solution provider, suppose you're not a developer, you're a solution provider, solution architect, then it will be used. So even normally what happened, people can implement, but it's not easy for a professional to provide the architecture. So maybe I'm planning to give one session how you guys can design the architecture. So live session I will cover. I'll tell you multiple use cases. Again, the use cases I will draw the live architecture. Maybe and that architecture you guys can use to explain in your project also. So Azure Function is a serverless computing service that enable you to run your on-demand code. Whenever you want to run your code on demand as and when required, just go and use it. In background, you no need to manage the infrastructure. Again, repeating, this is serverless platform. Serverless, anyone, any idea what is serverless platform and any example of the serverless service? Sharon, what is serverless? No? Server, in case you're going to use, first you guys have learned multiple serverless. So some of the example is Cosmos, Azure Function, Logic App, API management, blob storage, table storage, queue storage, app service plan. These are the serverless services. Means you no need to maintain the server. it will be self-maintained by Microsoft. You no need to provision the infrastructure. You don't require any backbone infrastructure. It will be self-managed. So nowadays, what happened? Lots of companies are providing the solution related to serverless architecture. If you feel you don't want to manage the infrastructure, you guys can provide your solution using serverless services. Serverless services. So examples I explain what are the example of the services. There are many more services available which come under serverless, you know. And Azure Function is also a serverless computing service that you guys can use whenever you feel you are working on the light applications, small application, or big application also you can use. But if your process is not the activity that you are going to perform through it, it's not long running process, then you guys can use Azure Function. Suppose I'm planning to fetch the data from API, same data I'm planning to place in ADLS Gen 2. ADLS Gen 2 is nothing, just a storage account. In the storage account, you guys can add a feature. If you're going to add a feature, that will be converted as a ADLS Gen 2. Over there, you guys can maintain the directory. So in advanced analytics, what companies are doing, companies are fetching the data through the API from different data sources and placing somewhere in an ADLS Gen 2. So what intermediate platform you guys can use? Either you guys can use Azure Function to fetch the data, or you guys can use SnapLogic, or you guys can use Azure Data Factory. These are some of the popular platforms available in industry. In case you feel the amount of data is huge, then I would suggest you guys to use the SnapLogic, or you guys can use Azure Data Factory. But the data that you are going to retrieve, if you feel the data size is not huge, it's lightweight data, you guys can use Azure Function. The good part is performance wise it's a good, but if the process that you are running is a lengthy process, is time taking process, then this is not the best solution. One more thing, another disadvantage with it is if you're going to retrieve the data and using the Azure function only, you are going to place the data also. So there will be a chance of the data loss. So in this condition, if you feel you are going to use the data, you don't want to lose your data, then I would suggest you should introduce another service here as the intermediate one. That's called the Azure Service Bus. Just pick the data through Azure function and store in Azure Service Bus, and from Azure Service Bus you guys can use it. It will give you the high available environment. Even in case of disaster also, you will not lose your data. So finally, again, last time I'm saying it's a service which come under serverless computing platform. Using it in case you want to run some background services. Remember, app service is mainly used for the UI application, website, web application, or API. But Azure function is mainly background service. MS Print, I'm going to, or let me show you something. PowerPoint. So guys, here what I'm doing, I'm going to open PowerPoint. Okay. One second, guys. Give me 1 second. So guys, one more portal I'm going to share with you. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. The portal URL I'm going to share with you. Okay. It will take time, guys. Give me a minute or two. I forget the URL. I have to search. For the time being, I'm going to stop the recording.
This conference will now be recorded.
Suppose there's a situation, or if you remember last time I was talking about app service. So there's a situation. Suppose you're going to create an architecture, okay, and in the architecture there will be API. Your customer is running multiple data sources. In the data source, they are running multiple databases. Suppose it's SAP, or suppose, okay, this is SAP Azure Monitor. One second, let me copy these icons here. It will take time, guys. Now from today onwards, the topics I'll cover will take time. And here, suppose SQL Azure. Here you can see I have a SQL database. This is the source system. Okay. And here, suppose the customer is running, P-SQL also. Suppose your customer is running 10, 20, 30 different data sources. So some of the data sources are designed on top of the SAP HANA. I think I will not get the icon here. HANA. Anyway, leave it. And app service. So here, if you remember last time we learned this app service. So just copy this app service from here. And Azure function. This is your Azure function. Okay. Application inside gateway. And this is your application gateway. This also I have to use. I tell you how to use it. And this is your app service plan. So guys, suppose the left side is the data source. So what I'm doing, I'm going to resize it. Okay. Normally, if you're going to beautify, it will take time, but I will not spend much time here. So what I'm doing, the left side, suppose I have multiple data sources. Okay. What I'm doing, I'm going to add a box here. Here I'm going to fill the color. Okay. I'm going to send to back. So finally, you see here, I have data source number 1, data source number 2, and data source number 3. Similarly, suppose this is your customer environment. Your customer is American Express. Okay, you guys are working for a customer, name is American Express. American Express is running lots of data sources, maybe in cloud ecosystem, or they're running the data sources in on-premise environment. What you guys suppose, this is cloud solution, and here no, what you are planning to write a API here. For this, I would suggest you guys to use the app service and app service plan. Remember here, what you guys can use? You guys can use app service and app service plan. So the data source to feed the data for this API will be these 3 data sources. Here, this is the SQL pass, this is the SQL as, and this is the P-SQL database, SQL database, and SQL pass and SQL as database. So this is data source. What you guys can do, you guys can write your API, just write API and deploy here in app service. This is the app service. Okay. this. Okay. And suppose what I'm running, I'm going to run multiple instances of it. There will not be single deployment. There will be multiple deployment. So this is the instance number 1, instance number 2, and so on. Okay. Okay. This is your application gateway, which we already have covered. And let me add a logic app also. Logic app. So this is the logic app. To monitor, okay, for monitoring purpose, I'm going to use the application insight. See here. Suppose I have 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 instances of the application is running. So this is the data source. Here I can write somewhere as a data source.
This is 3 API.
One API deployed on 3 different instances.
Okay.
API is same but deployed on 3 different instances. In case you feel you want to use the same app service plan or you want to use the different app service plan, it's totally up to you how exactly you want to organize it. Okay, so here what I'm doing, I'm going to create a copy of it and the color I'm going to change. Okay. Let me think for a minute. Okay, for the monitoring purpose, how the application is working, these applications are working perfectly or not, what I'm going to use the application insight. This is your application insight. Let me add a text so that I can add the name also. Text. Okay, text box. So one is the application insight, APP application in SI insights. So guys, this is the application insight. This is application gateway. This is your application gateway, and these are the APIs. Suppose guys, web APIs. I'm going to create an instance of it, and then I'll select and rotate like this. Okay, what I'm planning, I'm going to add here, and this is your app service plan. These are the applications. This is the same application. Maybe URL will be X, Y, and Z, but it will be the part. I mean, it will be consumed through API gateway. So whenever end user will access, they will not access these website directly. They will access to this API gateway. The API gateway is working like the load balancer, which last time we covered, last Saturday we covered, is working like the load balancer. Sometime people will get the response from the first instance, sometime from second instance, sometime from third instance. The load will be distributed among these 3. Clear? Guys, is it clear or all clear?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. One more thing. Let me make some changes in the plan. So this I'm going to align in center. Normally, whenever you're going to provide the solution, it takes time. You cannot design the solution in 5 minutes or 1 hour. It takes time. But anyway, so here I'm discussing about the use cases. and this is my Azure function. Okay, what is this? This is my Azure function, or sometimes this is also called the function app. Azure function, CTIO, Azure function. Okay, what I'm planning here, the right side, I'm planning to create you know, advanced analytics. I'm planning to create a zone for the advanced analytics. That's in current situation, that's one of the hot area in industry. Even if anyone who is good in advanced analytics, I can give the opportunity. Just one simple round of interview, maybe I'll take the interview and you'll get the selection. It's one of the hot area. So here guys, this is your data lake. What I'm planning to create a data lake here. So for this, what I'm planning, I'm going to send to the back, and the color I'm going to change here. So if you see here, okay, let me go with it. Okay guys, so suppose this is the data source maintained by your customer. So your customer is maintaining the data source. What they said, okay, these are data sources. Here I can write in common area, data sources. Okay, and here what you guys can do, there are multiple options, exactly what you're looking for, but today I'm talking about advanced analytics. So in advanced analytics, I'm looking for data lake. So let me type here data. Okay, this is storage data lake. Okay, v2 icon I don't have here, storage v2 icon, so no problem. So here this is my data lake. What I can do, this is my ADLS Gen 1. This is called the ADLS Gen 2. Means this is just simple storage account. If you remember last time I said, you just go and create a simple storage account. In case you feel this storage account you are planning to use for the advanced analytics, you guys can convert as a ADLS Gen 2. So suppose this I have converted in ADLS Gen 2. Also we have two versions of the ADLS Gen 2, ADLS Gen 1 and ADLS Gen 2. Gen 2 is the latest one. So what I'm planning here, I'm planning to store the data here first. This is called as the raw zone, and the second is called the curated, or sorry, process zone. And the third one more zone I'm planning to create, that will be called as the curated zone. Okay, so here I'm planning to use the another technology, Synapse Analytics. So yeah, this Synapse Analytics I'm planning to use here. Okay. Later on, what I'll do, whenever anyone is looking for it, for any data for advanced analytics, I can, sorry guys, I can provide the data from curated zone here. Power, okay, I don't have Power BI. ANALY, okay, 1 second. Okay, this is your Power BI. What I'm doing, I'm going to click on print to bring to front, resize, and use here. Create another copy, use here. This is my Azure function. I'm going to use here also. Another instance I will use here. I'll tell you how exactly you guys can connect, what will be the role of all these. This is my ADLS Gen 2. So I would say this is my raw zone or landing zone. Landing zone. Okay. The second is, I'm saying this is my process zone where I will store my process data. Okay. And the third is my curated zone. Curated zone where the final data will be available as per the business requirement. So here I'm going to bring to front, and this is my curated zone. So later on, what I'm planning to feed the data from this curated zone. I'm planning to feed the data to some third-party application. Suppose, guys, I have another, I have third-party application. Okay, this is the third application number one and application number two. These two are the third-party application. Okay, maybe it's available in the same subscription or in different subscription, and I'm planning to use this data in Power BI also. Power BI. Normally, whatever I'm covering today in Pan India, you can check. No one is going to cover, especially in live session. No one is covering. It's taking too much time. Oh, the screen is freezed. Hope you guys can hear me. I'm about to click here. One second, guys. Let me stop recording. Okay. So it was minimized. Okay. So here the right side that you can see. Okay. So this is the data sources. And whenever the end user will try to connect, so guys, suppose this is my end user. The end user, so guys, this is the end user. Suppose whenever the end user will try to access the application or API, sorry. Okay. These are the end user. One last thing, BI. This is Power BI, guys. I'm going to copy. I don't know whether you guys are aware or not what exactly the Power BI is. Okay, so finally, guys, suppose the left side that you can see, this is the data source. On top of it, there's some ERPs are running. Maybe the customer is running some ERPs, they are running some CMS, they are running some, CMS, ERP, and CRM. Or suppose they are running CRM. So customer is running the CRM. This is a customer environment. So here the customer is running multiple CRM. So this is the CRM. This is CRM application or ERP application. This is also CRM or ERP application. And here the customer is also running the CRM or ERP application. These applications are running. Suppose the first application are used by the customer and the location is suppose Europe. So guys, this is the ERP or CRM. Suppose ERP and used in EU. Okay, and similarly, customer is running multiple or single ERP in US location also. Similarly, they are running ERP in several other locations like New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, and many more. Suppose Australia. Okay, so guys, EU. AU. So guys, so your customer is running these ERP in different countries or different location, but the data, whatever the ERP they are using, the data is fed in these databases. So for the in Australia they are using pSQL, in United States they are using SQL Server on PaaS, and in Australia what they are using SQL on AS. So whenever the data, whenever these ERP or CRM will be used, the data will be fed in these databases. Okay, structure, I suppose the structure of the databases is quite similar. It's quite similar. So here, what I'll do, I'll change the color. Give me a minute. Okay, similar like this. Let me connect this to also. So whenever any transaction is happening in Australia, it will be stored in the
They are
first one.
connected to Atul, they are connected to a different zone or same zone.
Zone, which zone? Where I haven't written zone here.
Okay.
It's a different country. Okay, let me complete it, then I will re-explain. Okay. Normally, for the designing, what people are using, they are using Adobe XD or any other tool. Okay, but here I don't have Adobe XD. That's why I'm using PowerPoint, so that easily you can understand. So guys, left side you can see these are some of the ERPs running in different countries. Same ERP. Suppose just for understanding, you can assume this is SAP for HANA. This is SAP ERP, which is used in Australia, uh, United States, and European countries. Suppose this is pSQL, SQL Pass, SQL as. Structure of the data is quite similar. It's quite similar. Means 80-90% or 100%. It's a similar. So what you guys can do, this is the data, find out the data which is used offline. Maybe these are being used offline or online, but data is available here in this data set. What you are planning? You are planning to create a data lake. So what you guys can do, on top of it, I would suggest you guys to create some APIs. And what you guys can use to create the API, you guys can use app service, which we covered last week, last Saturday and Sunday we covered app service. So the API you guys can develop and deploy here. Or if you feel you're planning to implement the load balancer type of things on top of it, then here you guys can use application gateway. Let me make it like this. This is not the correct structure. Okay, so this is the API gateway. So, and what happened? This, okay. This is API gateway. So the data is available here. On top of this data, you guys can create. This is API, and this API for load balancer. In case you feel you're planning to implement the load balancer, so here you guys can introduce application gateway. Okay. Once your API is ready, So what you guys, and in case you feel you want to analyze, the usage, you want to analyze the CPU, you want to analyze the performance, you want to analyze XYZ everything for the monitoring purpose, Microsoft is offering another service, which is the part of the app service is called the application insights. So these applications you guys can monitor through application insights. So finally your data is available up to this layer, which is called as the uh, web API or app service. What you have to do, you have to pull the data from here and place in the landing zone. So suppose this API is returning the JSON response or XML response. The data which is being returned by this system is returning the data in JSON format or XML format. So what you guys can do to move the data, to fetch the data from here to here, the multiple services you guys can use. One popular service nowadays is called as the ADLS, Azure Data Factory or ADF. This is Microsoft service. Or if you guys want, you guys can use Azure Function also. This is the Azure Function I was talking about. So if you want to use, you guys can use Azure Function, or you guys can use Azure Data Factory. And the good part is, in case if you feel the amount of data is not so huge, okay, then you guys can use it. But if you feel you're looking for a sustainable model, you're looking and the amount of data is used, then I would suggest you guys to use the Azure Data Factory. But just for the time being, just assume the data that you will receive is lightweight data. Maybe this system will run after every 5 minutes, and every time maybe you'll get 1 record, 2 record, 10 record, 20 record. That's it. But if you feel you receive the thousands of record per minute, then I will not suggest you guys to use it. Just for the light application, you guys can use. Suppose guys, I will receive very less amount of data. To fetch the data, if you want to use, again repeating, you guys can use SnapLogic, you guys can use Azure Data Factory, or you guys also can use it. Suppose in this situation, I'm going to use it. So what Microsoft is suggesting, in case you are going to use it, you can use, but there will be risk involved. The risk is, suppose because of any particular reason something happened in between. If something is happened in between, there may be a chance of the data loss. Suppose the data is retrieved from here, but it was not placed here. In between, connection break. So if this is the situation, then there may be a chance of the data loss. So if you feel you want to avoid the chance of the data loss, so here I will suggest you guys to introduce the service bus. This is your Azure Service Bus. So what you guys can do, you guys can store this data here in a service bus. Service bus is just a platform which you guys can use to store your messages. See here. So you will fetch the data through Azure function, but where you store in a service bus. Okay. Okay, let me connect it. Okay, give me a minute. Shubham, you joined very late. People are joining according to their convenience, and later they're claiming, hey, I'm not able to understand. So do you think who is responsible, you or me? Of course, I'm not responsible, guys. Okay, so here Azure function. So this function, Azure function, is mainly used whenever you want to run the small amount of code, certain level of code, not a big project. Through Azure function, you cannot complete a project, but in case you want to run a small piece of the code through Azure function, you can. Web app is last week that I covered is mainly used whenever you're going to host or develop your web API application or websites. Then you guys can use it. But in case you want to run some logic in background, then I would suggest you to use the Azure function. or sometimes this is also called the function app. So this function app will pull the data from these API and place store here, and then from here to here, means it will fetch the data, store here in service bus. From service bus again it will pull the data and place in ADLS Gen 2. ADLS Gen 2 is nothing, just a storage account with extra property. Over there you will be able to create the folder structure. Once your data is available here, again to move the data from here to here, what you guys can do from one zone to another zone, I would suggest you guys to use the Azure Data Factory. This is Data Factory. Just use it. Otherwise, if you don't want to use, you guys can use Azure Function also. There are multiple options available, guys. If you want to use option number one, you guys can use it. If you don't want to use, you guys can go with this one. So if you feel the amount of data, if the amount of data is very small, then you guys can use it. If the amount of data is bigger, then you guys can use Azure Data Factory also. So guys, once your data is available here, normally what people are doing, people are not processing the data as it is data storing in a ADLS Gen 2, and later on, in case you feel you want to do some massaging, you want to do some transformation on top of it, that you guys can do here under landing zone. And final data will be available in a curated zone. So whatever the type, according to the business requirement, that's totally up to the business requirement. You guys just design your data in a such a way so that it can able to feed the data to the business application. So finally, guys, your data will be available in a curated zone in a tabular format. On top of it, in case you feel you want to write some API, suppose guys, in case this data, if you want to consume in Power BI for the analytics purpose, that you guys can use here. So this system will be able to feed the data for the analytics also. So for the analytics, you guys can use Power BI. Okay, or if you feel you want to create some API on top of it, then what you guys can do, you guys can again use Azure Web App. Here you guys can use Web App. So guys, in this architecture, okay, let me run this. Okay. Not 204, Azure PPT. Anyway, so guys, I'm going to run here. Hope now it will be visible to all of you. If you see here, I'm using multiple services. What is the use? Again, repeating, the left side, just assume your customer is running the multiple ERP in different country, Australia, United States, and European country. This is EU, this is United States, and this is Australia. Whatever the transactions are happening, maybe some transactional data or some master data. Master data or transaction data is being saved in various data sources. So the data source is SQL, pSQL, and SQL on VM. Okay. What you are planning? You are planning to create the analytics engine, or you are planning to create the data lake here. So what you guys can do, same data you guys can create, pull, and to pull the data, I would suggest you guys to use the web app or a web API. Just create the web API, multiple or single. Here, if you're going to create 3 API, 1, 2, and 3, the URL will not be common. So, but to this, you have to provide the common URL. So, and it should be load balance. So, in case you feel you're planning to implement the load balancer on top of it, then just go before it, just go and introduce the application gateway. So, through the API, okay, and here this will fetch the data. This will fetch the data from this source and place data as it is without any modification in landing zone. To pull the data, what you guys can use this Azure function to store the temporary data. To store the data temporarily, you guys can use Service Bus. And Web API is here. Web API means app service is mainly used for the UI application, means for the Web API, for the website or for web application. But Azure function, you guys can use in case you feel you want to do some background process. Hope it will be clear now. In case you feel you have to do some background process, then I would suggest you guys to use the Azure function. Is it clear to everyone? Puneet?
Yes. Yes.
So background, for background process, you guys can use Azure function. For the UI process, you guys can use Azure a web app or app service. Store the data in ADLS Gen 2 in raw format. Later on, you guys can do some certain level of transformation. So when we're going to move the data from one zone to other zone, either you guys can use Azure Data Factory, or you guys can use Azure Function also. Azure Function you guys can use if the light is the data size is quite smaller. But if you're going to use it, same time, I would suggest you guys to use the Azure Service Bus so that your message should be reliable and available in case of disaster also. From here, you guys can move your data either in SQL Server, or you guys can use Synapse Analytics. This is your Synapse Analytics. This Synapse Analytics you guys can use to feed the data for the analytics purpose for Power BI application or for third-party application also. This is one of the architecture where you guys can use Azure function. So overall architecture I just created so that I can show you the capability where you guys can use exactly the Azure function or web API. Tushar, Vipin, Sharan, is it clear? How much time it took to design it? So guys, it's time taking process. That's why normally people it's not easy to design, and whenever people are going to design, it's time taking process. Okay. So guys, again, I'm moving the ahead here with the same deck. So if you remember, we were talking about the Azure function. So here Azure function is a serverless computing service that you guys can use whenever you feel you have small size of the code. If you have the big, the data that you are going to process, suppose it's a time taking, the size of the data is used, then I will not suggest you guys to go with the Azure function, just use some alternative services. But if you feel the light is a lightweight data you're planning to use, then you can. So here, solution for the small pieces of the code. That's why I'm saying if using this, you cannot create an entire project. Whenever you feel you have a small piece of the code that you want to write, you guys can write it. And write only code that is relevant to the business logic. So unnecessarily no need to write anything. Wherever you feel is relevant to the business logic, that code you can write, and it should not be very big one. Just go create a small functions. And what it will do, using it, you guys can remove the necessities to write the plumbing code to connect the hosted application. Same thing we were discussing. One more thing, this was built on top of the web jobs. Earlier, there was a service available in market. It was called the web job. Web job were mainly used to run the background services. Web app service is used to run the front-end services, while web job were used to run the background services. So this is just a replacement or advanced version of the web job. If I'm talking about the programming languages, so it's supporting varieties of programming and scripting platform. For example, you guys can use Shell script, you guys can use PowerShell, JavaScript, Python, PHP, Java, .NET Core, or .NET Standard, even Ruby also. So this is supporting all these programming languages and scripting platform. Is it clear to everyone? Pallavi? Sometimes during the interview, people are asking what's the difference between web jobs. So guys, first this is serverless, and automatic scalability is managed here. Whenever required more and more SKUs, it will be added automatically. So it's auto managed. And here, in case you want to use any Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, that you guys can use, or you guys can develop your function directly in Azure portal also. And is working on the pay per use pricing. Here, Microsoft is offering multiple pricing tier that I will show you. And one more thing, in case you feel you want to integrate with the Azure Logic app, that is also possible. This you guys can integrate with the Azure Logic app also. Plus event-wise. So event-wise, Azure Web Jobs as well as the Azure function, both are working very similar to each other. Suppose guys, certain code, certain function you want to run on certain frequency. Suppose you want to run your code after every 1 hour. That is also possible. That is a timer-based trigger. That is timer based trigger. Or if you want, your code should automatically execute whenever any transactions are happening in storage account, queue or blob storage. Remember, if any transactions are happening, suppose you just uploaded some blob, what should happen? Whenever the blob will be added in a blob storage, uh, you want to take some unnecessary action. For example, you want to move this blob from this folder to another folder, from this directory to another directory, from this subscription to any other subscription. For these type of activity, you guys can use it. Or if you want to integrate it with Azure function queues and topic, that is also possible. Or if you want to integrate the Azure function with the Cosmos DB, that also you guys can use. Suppose whenever any new record is added in Cosmos DB, same time you want to run this function. Or with the IoT, with the Event Hub, with the some other event grid, these services you guys can use. So these two are, function app and web jobs are very close to each other in terms of the trigger event. Both are offering similar type of trigger event, similar, quite similar. And languages wise, Azure Function is supporting multiple programming and scripting platform. For example, C Sharp, VB.NET, F Sharp, JavaScript, Java, PHP, Python, Ruby, PowerShell, and many more. While WebJob was supporting single programming language, it was C Sharp. It was not supporting something else. One more thing, pricing wise, that's a much richer. This is quite better in terms of the pricing. Here they're offering the consumption plan and app service plan. So if you remember, last time in last session, I was talking about the app service plan. So here also we have the app service plan available. If you want to use the app service plan, then you have to pay the lump sum amount. Suppose the charges for 1 month is 20,000 rupees, then you have to pay 20,000 whether you are using or not using. And the second is the consumption plan. If you're using the consumption plan, so you have to pay only if you're using it. If you're not using, then you don't need to pay anything. Hope you're getting my point. So Microsoft offering two plans. The one is a consumption plan, means whenever it will be consumed, then only you have to pay. The second is app service plan. In this condition, you have to pay whether you're using it or not using. Which one is better? Puneet, which one is better? Consumption or app service plan?
Consumption plan.
Okay, both are better depending on the situation. So if you feel the application is quite famous, it's widely used, then I would suggest you guys to go with the app service plan. If application is not being used, if there's no certain range, there's no certainty, then I would suggest you guys to go with the consumption plan. Maybe your application is being, or this function will be used 1 times a day, 10 times in a day, then you guys can use a consumption plan. But if you feel widely used, it's very much popular all the time, your function is running, then just go with the app service plan. This will be cheaper. Okay, while WebJob was supporting only app service plan, it was not offering the consumption plan. So these are the differences between WebJob and Azure function. Next is through Azure function, what activities you guys can perform. So guys, you guys can run code based on HTTP request. Means suppose there's a website, so whenever anyone is requesting or opening the website, what I want to send a message, I want to send an email, that is possible. Or whenever anyone is going to access my website, I want to create a folder, or I want to move some file, or I want to take some necessary action, that is possible. Means you guys can execute this Azure function on HTTP request. How many of you don't know what is HTTP request? Guys, anyone who feel you don't know what is HTTP request? Everyone know? Then okay, leave it. Second is scheduled code on predefined time. So suppose you feel you have to run some code after 1 hour, 15 minutes, or 4 hours, 6 hours, or 24 hours. Then also you guys can use Azure function. Example of it is when I was part of SL Technology Limited, every day around 5 p.m. I remember uh, my code was getting the data from the database. It was preparing a report and sending to the stakeholders. So and every day 5 o'clock, once in a day. So if you feel you want to create certain report uh, on certain interval, then you guys can use it. Or Vodafone bill. Vodafone bill, Idea bill, your telephone bill, how exactly is it running? So once in a day, maybe night time or morning time, there will be background process. The background process will execute. It will check, hey, what is the billing date? Suppose provider is having 10 million subscriber. Okay, suppose Vodafone is having 10 million users, and today the billing for 2 lakh people. So what will happen? There will be background job. The background job will run automatically on the scheduled time. It will collect the data of all the users and generate the bill. So if you want to do this type of exercise, so that is also possible. Plus, in case you want to run your job, whenever any transactions are happening in Cosmos DB or Document DB, whenever any transactions are happening in storage blob, storage queue, or message. Okay, so anywhere any transactions are happening, then you want to take some necessary action, you want to execute any function. So over there also you guys can use it. One more thing, similarly, in case someone is requesting, I mean, any message is coming, being aligned in a queue, then you want to run, or whenever any IoT, I mean, you guys can integrate with IoT devices or event hub or event grid or with other services also. These are the other services where you guys can integrate the Azure function. So in case you want to integrate with the event grid, notification hub, event hub, Cosmos DB, Twilio, this is used for the bulk message. This is for the reliable messaging platform. In case you want to store your messages for short duration, then you guys can use Service Bus that I was talking earlier. So, and here with the storage also, table storage, blob storage, and queue storage. So these are some of the Azure services where you guys can integrate your Azure function. Okay, hosting, guys. If you remember, I said Microsoft offering two type of hosting plan. One is the app service plan. This is the traditional one, which we multiple time we discussed. Last week also we discussed, and the consumption plan. So here is okay. Here instances are dynamically inserted. Okay. So here, what will happen whenever it is required, then only it will start. If it is not required, then it will go into sleep mode. The good part with it is, if there is no user or if there is less user, then you have to pay very less amount. But the bad part is if your application is being used very randomly every time it's running, then the charges will be higher this time the charge will be higher. One more bad part with it is it's a work on the cold start concept. Cold start means suppose your process executed now, and after and now the second time it will execute tomorrow or after 4 hours. So what will happen whenever first time it's going to start, it will take some time. It will take some like 5 seconds or 6 seconds to start, maybe 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds to start. So it's a work on the cold start. The reason by default it is sleeping. Whenever request is coming, then only it will start. That's why you have to pay less amount here. On runtime, Microsoft will give you the memory, processor, and everything. So guys, both are good, but in different cases. If it is frequently used, then go with the app service plan. If it is not frequently used, then just go with the consumption plan. Hope this will be clear. Karthik, Puneet, Krishna, Shubham, Amit, Gafar, Pallavi.
Yes.
Okay. Trigger and type. We already discussed. So we already have discussed this, guys. So here, timer based trigger means on the schedule time in case you want to run, then you guys can use it. Messages based means if any message you receive in a database, then you want to execute, then okay, this time you guys can run it. HTTP based is also possible, and many other condition. Okay, one more thing, trigger type. This we already have discussed. Let me show you the implementation. For the demo purpose, I already have written a program. Let me show you the program, or let me create the instance first. Everyone, please go on mute if you don't have any question. So guys, this is my subscription, default engineer. Okay, here Microsoft offering a service which is called the Azure function. In my subscription, $72 is remaining here. Microsoft is offering Azure function. Okay, here. This is your function. Azure function or function app. What I'm doing, I'm going to create a function. Function, if you remember, initially I said it's a reusable code. Here, I'm going to create a resource group. Name will be funkrg. Funk, F-U-N-R-G, or funkar. Here, name is blob movement. Okay, so if you remember, with app service, the URL was https://domain.azurewebsite.net. So here in this case also, same URL, same type of URL Microsoft is going to offer you. Clear, guys? Why Microsoft offering same type of URL? The reason this is a family group. I mean family services. So if you have some Docker container you want to run, or you have the source code available, both are accepted by it. Here, what programming language you are planning to use? Suppose I'm planning to use the .NET. Which version of the .NET? .NET 6.0. This is .NET Core. Where you're planning to host it? Suppose I'm planning to host in Center India location, which is Pune. How many instance? Okay, here storage account name. In this condition, Microsoft will create a storage account name will be funkrg. Okay, sorry, funkrg a8fd. Okay, in case you feel you want to change it, you can. One more thing, operating system in background, which OS you want to go with? You want to go with the Windows operating system or Linux one? That also you guys can decide. One more thing, pricing type. Here Microsoft offering multiple pricing tier. One is the app service plan. So if you have app service plan, you guys can reuse. If you don't have, then you guys can create also. Function premium. Okay, this is the premium one. And this is the consumption one. This is the newly offered by Microsoft. Here consumption plan. If you're going to use the consumption plan, then you have to pay whenever it will be used. If it is not being used, then you don't need to pay anything for it. Okay. Next is the network. So network feature is not available with it. In case you feel you're planning to go with the network feature, then you have to go with the premium plan. Then only you'll get that feature. Monitoring. In case you feel you want to monitor it for the monitoring, if you remember initially I said I was talking about the application insight. So here Microsoft will offer you application insight. This is application insight. Through it you guys can monitor your function. Tag. I'm going to tag in environment as a POC and create it. Okay. So wait for a minute. In between the provisioning is going on. We can wait. So far, it's easy to understand or difficult? You know, it's a very different situation when people are pin drop silent. They're not responding. Well, I don't know what I should say. I'll come over there. Still, things are pending. They're nested. Okay, so let it proceed, guys. It's going on. See, guys, it's ready. See, earlier the icon was different. The icon was the app service icon, but recently just immediately changed it. Here, this is your app service. Oh, sorry, this is function app, and this is the storage account created under it. Storage account. So see here, this you guys can use for the monitoring purpose. This is your application inside. Through this application inside, you guys can monitor it. And this is the storage account where you guys can. So the use case to implement the Azure function is, suppose guys, this is my storage account. In this storage account, whenever any data will be added, what I want to move this data from one folder to another folder. This is the use case that I'm going to show you guys. To save the time, what I did, I already have written a code. Day before yesterday, there was a session in my office. For that, I have created a code. Same code I'm going to show you also. So let me open my project first. So give me a minute. See here. I'm going to show you a project. Once again, starting here. So guys, this is the code. Okay, what this code will do, this code will copy the data. Sorry, not this one. This is the code. Oh, okay, that is also code, but over there I have written lots of other things also. So guys, this is a very small code. So this is your Azure function. This function, what it will do, it will the copy data from test in folder. Whenever you will upload any data, in test in, it will copy the data from test into test out folder. How to create this type of project? Just use the Visual Studio. In this condition, if you remember earlier also I said you guys have to install the Visual Studio. If you haven't installed the Visual Studio, then I would suggest you to install, and during the installation time, just use the Azure SDK workload. Here I'm going to create a project in Visual Studio. Just go and create a project. Here Microsoft offering a type of project called the Azure function. Just use the Azure function project. Click on the next button. Whatever the name of the Azure function you want to pass, you can pass like funcRG. Okay, func. Here, what Microsoft will do, Microsoft is giving what type of integration you're looking for. Suppose you want to create an empty project, you want to integrate with the Azure Service Bus. So here C# function will run whenever a message will be added in specific service bus. So guys, whatever the function you are going to write, this function will execute automatically whenever any new message will be added in a Azure Service Bus queue. So second is HTTP trigger. So here this is also a C# function that will run whenever anyone is going to request HTTP. Suppose I'm going to request HTTP :/xyz.com, then it will occur automatically. Similarly, in case you want to run the time based on certain frequency, you want to run this, then you guys can use this one. You want to use the queue trigger, or similarly, we have multiple trigger points available. What type you're looking for, just go and use it. Suppose I'm looking for the wait first. Okay. Suppose I'm looking for the blob. So here a C# function will be run whenever the blob will be added in specified container. So whenever you'll upload data, the function will trigger automatically. So this is the trigger point I have selected, and after it I have written a very small code. So what this code is doing, this code will move your content from this folder to this folder. So what I'm doing, just for the testing purpose, I'm going to create a two folder. See guys, here I'm going to open my portal. This is a storage account. In this storage account, I'm going to click on the container. Here I will create a folder, test in, and the folder I will create here, test out. Okay, two folder I created. Let me tell you the program. So guys, this is the script. Okay. Okay. So guys, what this function will do? This function will run automatically, and the triggering point is the blob trigger. So whenever any blob will be added in this folder, so what it will do? It will copy the data. It will copy the data from this folder to this folder. So this is the in, and this is for the out. So it will stream the data. It will copy the data or stream the data from this directory to another directory. And here I have written the code. This is just for the logging purpose. You can remove it. So here the code will be copied, or the data will be copied from source to destination. So this is the source, and destination will be out block, into out. That's why I created two folders. One is the test in, and the second is test out. What I'm doing now, I'm going to build this. So let me build this solution. Solution, okay, build. The next step, what I'm doing, I'm going to deploy it. So directly I'm going to right click here and click on the publish button. Once you're going to click on the publish button, Microsoft, okay, so see last time, as I said, on 3rd of, sorry, on 2nd of March, March 2nd, 2022, I created this, sample project, and here I'm going to publish it. So here they will ask where you want to publish. Do you want to publish on your local machine? If yes, then select the local folder. If you want to publish in Docker Container Registry, then you can use it. If you want to directly publish on Azure portal, then you can select the first one, Azure. Next, here, which platform you have used to develop it. So I have used Windows environment. Here you see here I have used Windows environment to develop it. In case you have used the Linux, then you can use. I have selected Windows, so I'll go with it. If you remember, this is my subscription. In this subscription, I already have created a function name was blob movement. Blob movement. So this function, Azure function I selected, and I'm going to click on finish button. Okay. In next step, I'm going to publish this. So publish, I'm going to start. It's asking for the confirmation. Okay. So guys, migration started. Is it easy for you guys to understand or difficult? Whenever people are not responding, it means there are two chances.
What is the software name? Your
Visual Studio.
Visual
I
Studio.
have used Visual Studio. In case you want to use the Python or Visual Studio Code or something else, that you can. So Visual Studio is used by developer as well as by admins.
Okay.
Okay, so publish is a publish, guys. In current situation, you see here, this is my in test in folder. What I'm planning to upload some data into it. Here I have a CV Puneet Bansal. What I'm doing, I'm going to upload this. Upload it. Okay, and see here, by default it's copied. The data moved automatically. How exactly is moved? Just think how exactly is moved. The region, there's job running in background. As per the Azure function, I have written whatever the content you are going to upload in the test in folder, that should be synchronized from test in to test out. And see here, in test out, what we have? One Puneet Bansal. In test in also we have the Puneet Bansal. So what I want, I'm going to upload one more file here, one more block. Cognizant offer. Okay, where I uploaded Puneet Bansal in, and see here, same content copied here also. So if you are going to upload anything in folder or any movement is happening, then it will be synchronized automatically from into out folder also. So this is happening because of Azure function. Similarly, in case you have some data source, you want to copy, you want to retrieve the data from here, you want to store somewhere else, you want to do any other activity that you guys can perform, but not a bigger chunks of the piece. In case you want to go with a certain level, then you can. In case you feel the amount of data is used is a petabyte, terabyte, then I will not suggest you to use it. This is for the lightweight applications or lightweight transactions. Okay, for the time being, what I'm doing, I'm going to use the Storage Explorer. 1 second, I'm going to use a tool, storage account. Okay, here, this is my storage account. If you remember, we have created a storage account is this. In this storage account, we have a connection string. I'm going to copy the connection string from here, and I'm going to connect. See here, this is my storage account. I'm going to connect through connection string. Connection string is this. Okay. So finally, name of my storage account is funkrg8df. I'm going to connect funkrg this one. This is my storage account. In this storage account, what we have here, we have in and out folder. Through it, I'm going to upload some data. So this time I'm going to upload ESOP reporting. Next, I'm going to upload some other files also. Deployment. See here, one last. Azure Service Fabric. This PPT also I'm going to upload. So where I'm uploading, guys, I'm uploading in folder, the same storage account, and this is my out. I haven't uploaded here. It's being synchronized automatically because of this background process. What I have written. Tushar, Sharan, is it clear? Karthik, Krishna, Amit, Pallavi, Shubham, Puneet.
Yes, Atul.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. So again repeating, last week we covered app service plan, app service, and API, not API management, service. What we covered? I forget. Yeah. Yeah, lots of names. So, okay, last week I covered application gateway, app service, and app service plan. So these three topic we covered last. Today I was talking about this component. So in real-time situation, guys, depend on project, your destination, and many other parameters. Solutioning is one of the very, very, very important part. Maybe you can work on the project, but it's not easy to provide the solution. To provide the solution, it's very important to have the knowledge of hundreds of services. Whenever you feel you have knowledge of hundreds of services, you can plan to appear as a solution architect. Puneet, now from today onwards, I'm planning to give this type of exposure in all upcoming sessions. So hopefully, guys, this architecture, the architecture today I drawn here, it will be covered to all of you.
Yes.
Is it easy to understand? Or yeah, I know Kunal, you joined very late.
It is easy to understand.
See here,
If
these are the end
we-
users. Mhm.
if creating
Any,
is something difficult, but once you created and explained, then it
I see, frankly speaking, mhm, the way or the platform that I selected to explain is one of the easiest one, so that easily you can relate. Otherwise, I'm using different tools for the same purpose.
Because if anyone are going in a architecture role, then they will create this type of things, right?
Yes, yes. Whether you're going to appear as a solution architect, enterprise architect, or operation architect, you guys have to work on it. These are the this is one of the main activity that you have to work on. Even in your team, here guys, your team size is around 16. Like one
Because
person only. Mhm.
because I had checked the job, right? Because there is some mention the role and responsibility. You have a hand-on experience in the HLD and the high level design and low level design.
Yes, you guys have to work on it.
Okay. If we are trying to draw the high level and low level design, then we are
One thing,
uh,
sometimes I'm running, batches for the
mhm,
for the enterprise architects also. Normally, who join these type of batches, a person who is holding position like AVP, VP, enterprise architect. Normally, these people
mhm,
are joining. But over there, I'm not covering the topics. I'm not covering
mhm.
topics. Implementation, I'm not showing. I mean, around 2 months, I'm showing this type of architecture, in trying these type of architecture. But they are coming in a
Any
group, and the
any
fee is
particular
also 30.
software? Any particular software are there to design HLD and low level design LLD?
Word document is being used
Okay, only
everywhere.
Word
In
document.
100% cases, yeah, only and only Word document is being used to draw this architecture. Visio,
Mm-hmm.
Adobe XD is being used. These two are the one of the populous one, Adobe
Okay.
XD or Visio.
Mm-hmm.
But the architecture that I drawn today, you can compare with the Adobe XD or you can compare with any other tool. If I'm going to give the screenshot, you cannot say that, hey, I have designed in PPT. Okay, my point
Mm-hmm.
or not?
Yeah.
So that's that you can compare. There's no difference, but it's totally you can do it only if you have worked in past. Then only. Otherwise, you cannot.
Okay.
So guys, for the in case anyone is holding very senior position and they are looking for, so but normally these type of people are not looking for the implementation. They're looking. I mean, they're looking just knowledge and architecture, not more than that. And they are coming group. I mean, normally the size is 5 to 7, and they are paying 35,000 rupees, and around 2 months. It's not taking much time. Around 2 months. So these are end user. Okay, and this is the analytics. ANALYT analytics platform, which is called the Power BI. Power BI, and these are the end users. And users, I'm going to start a batch from tonight, and very soon I'm going to start another batch. Over there, everyone is working as enterprise architect, AVP and VP.
ये वाली क्लास कब होगी दोबारा अब्दुल? मैं तो छूट ही गया मेरा। बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट था ये,
कौन सी
फंक्शन
क्लास?
फंक्शन समझने।
कौन सी क्लास?
ये करंट आज वाली मैं तो छूट गई।
Very good question. तो मैंने बोला था कि you should not miss any of the session. It's your fault why you missed. Application gateway. Application gateway. This is the gateway. So whenever end customer will try to use the application, they will not directly hit to the application 1 or application 2. They will head to this one. And this will, sometimes they will get the response from server number 1 and sometimes from server number 2. So this is the instance number 1, instance number 2. On these two instances, same application will be deployed. Or you can say it may be API, it may be website, or it can be analytics engine. Suppose this is also analytics engine. Okay, so here suppose this is order management system. Order, okay, analytics, ANALYTI, analytics, order management system, ANA. Okay, so this is your order management system, which is used for the mainly analytics purpose. And you guys can check anywhere in pan India. No one is going to cover this part. What today I'm covering. No means no, no one. Okay, so hopefully so far this will be clear to all of you. If yes, then we can move ahead. So this is the situation, guys. Here, wherever you guys can use app service here, here, and here. You guys can use app service here also. Here also you can use the app service. Wherever you feel you want to use the user interface, web user interface, or you want to create some API, then you guys can use it. One more thing, I will extend this architecture maybe tomorrow again. Over there, I will show you the implementation of APIM. Same thing with the APIM, API management. Same architecture, I will retrain or I'll upgrade it. Okay, so again, returning back to the same. So this we already have discussed. One more thing, inbound and outbound. In case you feel this we already have discussed a trigger, and this example we discussed. Okay, one more thing, guys. In case you feel you want to give the access of your Azure function to particular network, suppose you have created this, and your customer is saying that, okay, as this is available in public environment, so I would suggest you to not expose in public. It should be accessible from my network only. So that is also possible, but pricing tier you have to change. As of now, we have selected the consumption pricing tier. In case you feel you want to give the access of this Azure function to your network only, your company network only, then just go with the premium plan. So if you remember, I was talking about the 3 plan. One is the premium plan, that is mainly for the network level with more extra feature, and the second is the consumption plan. In case you don't know how many people are going to access, may or may not be used, then you guys can go with the consumption plan up. And if third is the app service plans. If you know lump sum user, or frequently it will be used, but you don't want to give the access to particular network, then you guys can go with the app service plan. So there are 3 type of plans offered. In case you feel you want to integrate with any Azure virtual network, integration is possible, but just you have to go with the premium plan, then only, otherwise it will not. One more thing, same thing, that too for the same thing. How exactly it's working? Suppose, guys, I'm using Azure function, and what you want to integrate with the Azure network, so that is also possible. Integration with the Azure network is possible. Best practices. The best practice is, if you're going to use the Azure function, make sure, I would suggest you guys to avoid the long running function. Suppose you have created a function, and that function is retrieving the data from the data source, and the function is running since last 15 minutes. I will not suggest you guys to create this type of function. Just go with create a function only if will execute very frequently. Maybe it's retrieving the your data within few seconds, maybe 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. If it is long running process, then I will not suggest you to go with it. This is one thing. Don't forget, guys, avoid the long running function that run for the long time can timeout. This will be the problem. Okay, so if it is taking more than 20 seconds, I will not recommend to go with the Azure function. The second, don't create a lengthy one. In case you feel your function is very lengthy, I would suggest you to split in multiple parts. Okay, next one is the use queue for the cross-function communication. Same thing what I was explaining. If you remember in this architecture, I suggested you guys to use the service bus. So in service bus, we have the queue and topics. So if you feel you have the cross communication, through that you are going to do the cross communication. This is your source and this is the destination. If this is the case, then maybe in case of disaster, there may be a chance of the data loss. To avoid the data loss, I would suggest you guys to introduce the Azure Service Bus. So pull the data and store in Azure Service Bus. From here, later on, you can process data. In that condition, there will not be any chance of the data loss. Hope this will be clear to everyone. This is your Azure Service Bus, or in short, this is also called the ASB. This is mainly used for the messaging. Service Bus. Clear, guys? This is the second recommendation from my side. And the code, see, whatever you guys can see, I have written. I haven't copied paste of the architecture that you guys can see. I have designed everything. It's taking much time to design. One more thing, write stateless function. The function should be stateless, and you know, and one more thing, state data should be associated with the input and output pointer. So here, what happened? Lots of time people are going to interact with the platform, some infrastructure. I will not suggest you to go with it. And whatever the integration component you are going to integrate, make sure it will try to integrate with the stateless services. Again, repeating, you should try to integrate with the stateless services. Example already shown you. What are the different examples of the stateless services where you don't need to maintain the data, operations or connectivity method. Okay. So example I already shown you. It's the same thing. One more thing, function. So if you have a project available in the project, you guys can create multiple functions. Suppose guys, this is a function. This is a project. In this, you can create a function 1, function 2, function 3, function 4, multiple function you guys can create. Suppose this function you guys can create for the service bus. You guys can create another function which will be used to integrate with the storage account. Third will be used to integrate with the API. Third will be something else also. So guys, in one project, you guys can create multiple function also. So this implementation I shown you. One more thing, chaining is also possible. In case you want to call through one function, you want to call the another function, that is also possible. This concept is called the neural function chaining. Function chaining means through one function, in case you want to call the other function, that is also possible. Technically, that's called the function chaining. This is the example. This is a job. What you guys can do, you guys can pass first with the first one, you guys can pass the second with the second, you guys can pass third, just use the fourth one. So function intercommunication is also possible. In case you feel you want to monitor your function, that is also possible. Okay, let me show you something here. This is my function, default subscription. It's taking some time to load. Okay, it's loaded. Here guys, see here, failed request. How many count of the server request? How many times I requested? 10 times. Guys, I requested 10 times. Okay. Similarly, when and what is the availability? So availability of my platform is 100%. It's available all the time. And server response time, the response time is 156.7 millisecond. How many times failed? As of now, it haven't failed. In case you feel you want to analyze through live metrics, that is also possible. As of now, right? As of now, it is not being used, but whenever it will be used, you will get the signals also. So guys, this is the analytics engine. Here, as of now, we're not doing anything, but whenever in future it will be used, you people will get the log, you'll get the signals here. As of now, see the flat line, that dot is going on. Hope it will be clear. Or anyone can try to upload the data. It will tell you how this is working. Wait for a minute. Okay, let me upload something. So guys, here I'm uploading a big file, very big file, big folder I'm going to upload. And see here, guys, see here. Hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
It's a capturing the telemetry data also. It will tell you overall health, what is the CPU uses, and dependency call request duration, failure rate, incoming, outgoing request, everything you guys can track here through this monitor. Is it clear or not? Are all clear? The data that I uploaded this time is quite bigger. But if it is not being used, you'll not get it. So it's a working internally is using telemetry. And this is the sample of the telemetry. What is happening, what time, how much time we took, what data is being transferred, everything can be tracked through it. Pallavi Sharma, is it clear? Krishna, Kunal, Puneet.
Yeah, it is
One
clear.
more thing, from tonight I'm going to start a new batch. From tonight I'm going to start a new batch. So Kunal, I remember a couple of sessions you have missed. So not from tonight, you can start from tomorrow. Region first session I already have covered for you.
This session,
Clear, guys?
because yeah, this session,
This
because
will
this
better.
session I have multiple questions from this session.
Then just wait for some time. Then again, you missed it. So last time I remember I asked you guys to join here. So here,
No
guys, in case you want to get the
questionnaire from this session. When should you give us some answer for the questionnaires? Yeah.
Can you repeat your question? What is your question?
So
You
I
want to
have
know
some
when?
questions. Yeah, I have some question from this session, like for these functions, function app, logic apps, and all. So I have some question which I already made and written, which is the real time example, real life examples. So I want your time to just discuss those questions. Do you have some time after the class or some class in some
One thing,
class?
call me around 3 o'clock. Call me around 3 o'clock. So guys, this is the live transaction. Whenever live transaction will happen, you guys will get this type of analytics board. If there is no transaction happening, then you will not get anything. In case you want to check what is the application map, that is also possible. See here, this is your application map. Okay. What is the availability, failure rate? Everything can be tracked through it. Okay, and this is your live matrix. This is telemetry data. This is telemetry log. In case you want to check any of the log, then okay. Anyway, so let's move ahead. Apart from it, in case you feel, see this is same application side. Application side, it's already enabled that I shown you. Property wise, it's very similar. As I told you, it's very similar like the app service which we already have covered. Same almost same properties. One more thing I wanted to tell you today that you are okay, that is use case. So if you remember, I was talking about the logic app also initially. So still we have 30 minutes left. We can cover it. And tomorrow I'm planning to start a new topic. Topic name is API management. Okay. So logic app. Kunal, what is logic app? Why it is being used?
लॉजिक ऐप अपना फ्लो डायग्राम की तरह लॉजिक बनाते जाओ और उसमें ब्लॉक्स बनाते जाओ, डालते जाओ। फ्लो डायग्राम की तरह है, बस उसमें सब कुछ कर सकते हैं आप, जैसे नॉर्मल एप्लीकेशन में कर सकते हो, फ्लो बना के उसी तरह का है।
Understood what he is saying? Guys, what he is saying? बनाते जाओ, डालते जाओ, लॉजिक की तरह।
जो आपने बॉक्स बना के, जो ये पावर एप्स किसी ने काम किया हो तो उसे में सिमिलर ही है।
Okay.
It is a large collection of connectors.
Okay. So logic app. So there's a use case, guys. Suppose there's a company name is ABC. In this company, there's some designation or role. The role is the lowest role is sales rep. In ABC company, the lowest role is sales rep or sales manager. Sales rep, and on sales rep there'll be branch manager, and third role is zonal manager. Sorry, here there will be territory manager, branch manager, zonal manager, then country head, and then managing director. This is the role. This is the sales role. I can say in the company name is ABC. In this company, this is the sales hierarchy, or this is the role hierarchy of the role. So here, okay, so the first person, okay, on this level, a person is sitting here, name is Atul. I'm working as a Atul. My boss is territory manager. Okay, name is Amit. And Amit boss is Rajan. Bina is working as a general manager. Okay. And country head is Rahul. And managing director is Piyush. Piyush. Okay. So what happened? I mean, suppose these people are working or these people are using a CRM or ERP. Okay. So whenever some deal is about to finalized, what salesperson will do? Salesperson can create the quotation. What he can do? There's a module or the functionality in ERP. I mean, these people are working, they are using ERP. So Atul can create a quotation. A quotation. But here the limit is, in case customer is looking for the discount, I can give the discount maximum up to $1,000. Means discount. Discount I can offer the discount up to between $1 to $1,000. Okay, this is maximum. I have the quota or I have the limit that I can give the discount up to 1000. But just assume whenever the discount, if customer is asking for the more discount, and suppose because of the business nature or because of the deal, you have to give the discount. And if the discount amount is suppose $3,000, then what will happen? A workflow will trigger. A new workflow will trigger. This means Atul will generate a request to give the discount. So if the amount is between discount amount is between 1000 to 5000, then who can give the discount? My boss means a territory manager name is Amit can give the discount. Okay, and if the amount is if the discount amount is between 5 to $7,000, then Rajan, who is a branch manager, can give the discount. If it is more than that, then this workflow will trigger one more time up to next level. In that condition, who can give the discount? If Bina want to give the discount, then she can give the discount if the amount is between 7,000 to 10,000. Okay, and country head. Next one is the country head. So, and if discount amount which is raised by Atul is greater than 10,000, and between $15,000, then he can give only he can approve it. And suppose if it is more than that, if the discount what customer is looking for, suppose it's a big deal, it's a big deal, maybe 200 crore, and customer is looking for the discount of $50,000. Okay, $50,000, then no one can give the discount, only MD can give this, and that time I need the approval from MD. So do you think in ERP or in CRM people will go offline? There will be some system. You have to take the approval through the system, through the workflow. So normally what developers are doing, normally these activities are done by developer and architects. So if the discount is greater than $15,000, then he can give the discount. Suppose maybe it's a $50,000, $1 lakh, or whatever amount, then only Piyush can approve, or no one else can approve it. So in this condition, normally what people are doing, there are two options. Just go and create a custom application, maybe in Java, PHP, R, Python, .NET Core, .NET Standard. Just go and develop a workflow application for this, or in CRMs or in ERPs. Normally we have this type of workflow. Or you guys can purchase any third-party tool for this one, but normally this is the standard people are following. So in your project there will be some module. In the module there will be some workflow configured. Depending on the configuration or depending on the business logic, it's working. So similarly, guys, in cloud computing, in case you're looking to implement this type of workflow, it's not only for the role base. Suppose what you're looking for, suppose whenever anyone is going to hit this URL, my system should shut down automatically. Or I have hundreds of machines, I'm running a call center. Just understand, guys, I'm running a call center. This call center should all the machines should auto shut down during the scheduled time. Suppose the morning 8 o'clock, all the machines will start automatically. Evening time, all the machines should shut down automatically. It should be automated process. Then you guys can use Logic app. Or if you feel whenever any is writing the negative feedback on social media for your company or for you, then you want to get an alert. And the best example is Dabur. So, or PMO India. This is future handle of the PMO India. So whenever suppose I want to create a, give me 1 minute, guys. I'm just trying to create the context. Okay. So guys, suppose or whenever anyone writing negative feedback against the Dabur India Limited, so what Dabur want? Dabur want to get an automated alert that anyone from across the globe is writing any negative feedback for the Dabur, they want to be notified automatically. Then you guys can use Logic app. Or in case you want to shut down the business, you want to delete data, you want to do certain automated processing background, then you guys can use the out of the box workflow which is offered by Microsoft. In this condition, you no need to write the code. Things are available as out of the box solution in the portal. Just go and use it. Remember, just go and use it. One more thing, Logic app. So what is Logic app? This is also a serverless platform. Logic app is a cloud-based platform for creating and running the automated workflow that integrate your application, data, services, and system, similar like the SharePoint workflow. So if anyone already have worked on the SharePoint workflow, they can easily, I think someone said here. So if anyone already have worked on the SharePoint flow, it will be very easy for you to understand. It's not designed only for the developer. In case you want to control your network, you want to control your application, you want to control your data, you want to integrate IoT system or something else, things can be controlled through it. In case you want to integrate for the B2B purpose, business to business or B2C scenario, in both of the scenario, you guys can fit it. And in case, okay, some of the business process I'm saying, suppose you want to schedule and send the message notification using Office 365. Here you say, suppose you want to schedule and send email notification using Office 365 when a specific event happen. Okay, for example, a new file is uploaded. So whenever anyone is uploading a new file, you want to get an alert. Suppose you're the part of monitoring team. You're the part of monitoring team. Whenever anyone is going to upload any file, then you want to get an alert that, hey, this user uploaded one file and the size of the file is this one. In this situation, you guys can use it. Or if anyone is writing the negative feedback about your company, then you guys can use it. Or in case, suppose you want to route and process the customer's order across the on-premise system and cloud services, then you guys, suppose, just another example, suppose Rajdhani train is coming from Kolkata to Chennai. Whenever Rajdhani will reach, is about to reach to major railway station. Suppose the major railway station is suppose Mughal Sarai, Kanpur, and Delhi. Suppose these are the major railway stations. So what do you want? You want to get automated alert, or you want to get automated message. Whenever is about to reach, means just 30 minutes ago, you want to get a message. What your company is doing? Your company is delivering the food in trains. So whenever the stoppage is about to come, 30 minutes ago, you want to get an automated alert, maybe message, maybe email that, hey, Rajdhani train is about to reach to Kanpur or Mughal Sarai, and just start the delivery. So what you guys can do, you guys can use it. There's a company available in Noida location called the Travel Khana. How many of you know? There's a company name is travelkhana.com. So this company is doing the same activity. What they're doing, they have the tie-up with the they don't have the tie-up. They have the tie-up with the restaurant, lots of restaurant. What they are doing, whenever any major train is about to reach to major railway station, and suppose you are traveling through the train, what you want to order your you already have order. Suppose tomorrow I have to go Allahabad. What I want, when my train will reach Kanpur, I want my food in the train. So in that condition, I can order today. I will get my order on the scheduled time. So there will not be anyone or waiting on the railway station that when train will come. Maybe 1 hour, maybe it's a 1 hour delay. So what will happen? The system will automatically share just couple of minutes. Whenever you configure, you'll get the alert that, hey, this is about to reach the start of the delivery now. So there will be nearby restaurant from where you guys will get the services. So same, that company is doing the same activity. What they're doing, whenever any train is about to reach on any particular railway station, they're starting delivery. They have the tie with the restaurant is delivering the food. Okay, one more thing, one more scenario where if you want to move the uploaded file from the SFTP or SFTP to storage account. Suppose you have some data available, you want to move the data. You want to move the data from SFTP or FTP to storage account or storage account to FTP. That is also possible. Tweets, you guys, you want to monitor the tweets, you want to monitor the Facebook chat, you want to monitor Facebook post, or you want to monitor something else, is possible. Microsoft is offering big number of the customer. I think more than 200 connectors are available. You guys can use. In this condition, you don't need to. Okay.
जो
Ask your question.
ईमेल के अंदर जो अटैचमेंट आता है उसे मूव कर सकते हैं क्या
क्या
किसी
कर
उसमें
सकते हैं?
एज्योर स्टोरेज में ईमेल में जो अटैचमेंट है कोई मान लो एक्सेल फाइल भेजता है ईमेल के अंदर ऑफिस 365 ऑफिस ईमेल के अंदर अटैचमेंट भेजता है तो क्या उसे ऑटोमेट करके मूव कर सकते हैं किसी स्टोरेज में
You can do it.
या
You
लोकल
can.
इंफ्रा में
You can do
इन
it.
इन
You can do it. You can do it if you have the credential. If you have the credential, if you have the
क्या
admin, you have the credential of the Office 365, then you can do it.
क्या क्या चाहिए इसके लिए नहीं मेरे पास मेरे ऑफिस के परमिशन मेरे ईमेल के परमिशन है मतलब
Okay,
मेरे
understood.
ईमेल पे या
So you have
सर्विस अकाउंट के ईमेल
That's okay. If you have the permission, then use the connector. Here, as I said, Microsoft offering hundreds of connector. Each connector will have its own credential. So you have to check for this particular use case which connector you have to use and which that connector is using or which parameter. So they will ask you that these are the credentials required. Whenever you pass, you can do it.
ऑन
And one
प्रीमाइज
more
सर्वर पे भेजना है वो डेटा ऑन प्रीमाइज सर्वर पे भेजना है जो मेरे
possible,
ईमेल पे
possible.
इसके अंदर एज्योर के कौन से कंपोनेंट यूज करने चाहिए जो बना ये फ्लो बनाने के लिए कौन सा कंपोनेंट यूज करना चाहिए लॉजिक ऐप से बन जाएगा क्या ये फ्लो
Yeah, I said possible. You have to check the connector. You have to check the connector. Maybe you have to integrate with the other services also, but technically it's possible. I'm not saying 100% things are possible, but yeah, major things, major activities are possible. You have to check the particular connector.
कोई मिला नहीं इसलिए
If,
इसलिए सवाल है
hmm?
कोई
Even
कनेक्टर
you
मिला नहीं
guys,
मुझे इसलिए
okay,
इसलिए
no
सवाल
problem. You guys can design here. Designing is also possible in case you feel you want to design your own custom connector. Technically, that is also possible. You guys can do it. Okay, so here, see, if something is not available as a straightforward, so if you remember, Microsoft is giving the flexibility to connect with some other services, or you guys can design your own connector if it is not available. Okay, so here guys, a serverless. So this is also similar as Azure function. This is also serverless, but Azure function that is mainly mainly in Azure function is used with the Visual Studio or online also. You guys have to write the code. In this condition, you don't need to write the code. This is just a drag and drop experience. Just go drag and drop, configure something and use it. Here, Microsoft is offering more than 200 connector. In current situation, how many connectors are? I don't know. Maybe more than 250. You have to check. You have to check. Very randomly, they are adding, modifying, and upgrading it. You have to check in the quota. I think someone said the connectors also. Here, Microsoft is giving the ability to create the custom connector. So if you feel something is not available, you guys, according to your business requirement, you guys can create your own custom connector. That's why I said, if something is not available as an out-of-the-box solution, no problem. Just go and create your own custom one. It will take time, but technically it's possible. Monitoring is available as an out-of-the-box connector. I mean, out-of-the-box solution. You guys can use it. In case you want to integrate with the other Azure services, that is also possible. Here, there are four major components Microsoft is offering. One is the connector, second is the trigger, third is the action, fourth is the workflow. A question is, what is connectors? So connectors are the pre-built Microsoft managed wrappers around the API. Means internally there will be some API. The API will be wrapped through a GUI interface. You guys can use it to connect with your data sources or to connect with the sources. It can be data source, it can be normal other type of source also. Microsoft is offering more than 200 connectors. These are some of the names. Okay, Like in case you want to integrate with the SendGrid, Twilio, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google Calendar, Google Drive, Google Worksheet, Google Task, GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, GoToTraining, Harvest, Box, GitHub, Bitbucket, Cognitive Services, Machine Learning, Data Lake, DocumentDB, and many more. So these are some of the out-of-box connector which Microsoft offering. In case you feel you are planning to customization is also possible.
Atul, I think Kunal is asking for the connector for email related. I think O365 connector will be there.
Yeah, it's there. If it is there, but apart from it, you have one more connector, SendGrid. SendGrid. In case you feel, yeah, SendGrid, that is also connected for the email purpose. So in case you feel, see, we have the constraint with Office 365. If you're going to execute thousands of mails at the same time, there may be a chance of the blockage or bouncing. But to get rid this situation, what you guys can do, Microsoft offering another connector which is called the SendGrid. That is paid basis, means against each mail you have to pay certain amount. But you guys can trigger millions of mail per second. Millions of mail per second.
Can you please
मुझे
spell it?
मेल नहीं भेजनी, मुझे मेल नहीं भेजनी, ऑफिस के जो ईमेल है उसमें कोई अटैचमेंट है, वो अटैचमेंट को
That's okay.
ट्रिगर
For that,
करना है
Office
लोकल
365
स्टोरेज पे।
connector is available. Office 365 connector is available. You guys can use it. Or if you have some requirement that is not provided in the connectors, then you have to create your own connector. That may be time-taking process, but you can do it. Okay, one more thing, trigger. So here Microsoft offering multiple type of the trigger, means recurring trigger. Recurring trigger means suppose you want to run this, logic app after every 5 minutes, 1 hour, once in a day, pulling base, or whenever an event is executed. Suppose someone is going to request to the URL, that time you want to fire it. That is also possible. Web-based, HTTP-based or web-based trigger is also possible, or you guys can create your custom trigger also. Okay, action based on this trigger, what action you want to perform, action you guys can design here. Microsoft offering multiple types of control, for example, switch case, for each loop, condition, until, terminate. So these type of features are also possible here. Sometimes people are confused. They think, hey, what's the difference between Azure Logic App and Azure Function? So both are serverless. First, both are serverless. In Azure Function, you have to write the code, while in Logic App, you don't need to write the code. That is just a drag and drop type of stuff. And Azure Logic App, you guys can run online only, but in case you feel you want to run the Azure function locally in hosted ecosystem, over there is also possible. Connector wise, there will be lots of differences in the connector. They are providing Azure function do not have the connector, yet rely on the trigger input and output. And Azure Logic App is providing the connector which you guys can integrate with in case of B2B and B2C, and they are offering more than 200 connectors. For the connector detail, I would suggest you guys to use the Microsoft portal. That's a very frequently they are updating it.
तो यहाँ पे एक क्वेश्चन बनता है कि एग्जीक्यूशन कॉन्टेक्स्ट आपने यहाँ बता दिया कि एज्योर में जो है ना लॉजिक एप्स वहाँ एज्योर में जाके ही चलेगी, या फंक्शन में आपने बता दिया कि सेल्फ मैनेज एनवायरनमेंट है। तो ये सेल्फ मैनेज एनवायरनमेंट आप कहते हैं तो इसका मतलब क्या होता है? अपने मशीन पे जाके उसको चला एग्जीक्यूट करने का?
Correct. So if you have the self-managed, suppose you have you're going to integrate with the PaaS services, or you're going to integrate with some of the self-hosted infra services. Over there, integration is also possible. One most important part, as of now, there's no as such dedicated programming language for the Logic app. This is just GUI-based, control-based. While Azure Function is offering integration with the multiple programming languages and scripting platform also. Like you guys can use PowerShell, Cloud Shell, Java, .NET, Python, and some other languages also.
नहीं तो यार रन टाइम क्या कैसे मिलेगा उसको? रन टाइम कैसे मिलेगा सेल्फ मैनेजमेंट? रन टाइम तो एज्योर में जाके ही मिलेगा ना?
You have to download and install Visual Studio. In Visual Studio, if you remember last Sunday I shown you, you guys have to install this plugin. So there's a add-ons available.
नहीं
You have to.
वो समझ गए, जैसे इंस्टॉल कर लिया मैंने, फंक्शन बना दिया, उसे फिर एज्योर में आपने पब्लिश किया था ना, तो रन टाइम पे पब्लिश करा के वहां पे एग्जीक्यूट हुआ ना वो एज्योर में जाके।
हाँ वो पब्लिश किया। So what exact, just think for a minute, what exactly required? Just think first, आपका जो फ्रेमवर्क होगा, फ्रेमवर्क, listen first, फ्रेमवर्क आपको मशीन के ऊपर मिल गया, and that you guys can communicate through FQDN URL के थ्रू। सपोज करो कि you have what you want to trigger, आपको क्या करना है कि आपको कुछ ट्रिगर करना है कि मुझे इस लिंक के ऊपर क्लिक करना है तो ये कुछ हो जाए, तो दैट यू कैन क्लिक फ्रॉम योर लोकल मशीन आल्सो। So this is possible. One very important part, this is just a suggestion, not recommendation in all situations. Whatever the resources you are planning to go with, I would suggest you to keep in the same or nearby location. So one implementation I'm going to show you. We have 13 minutes left only. So here I have my subscription. I don't know why I'm getting logged out every time today. So here what I'm doing, I'm going to create a VM. Quickly I'm going to create a VM in Center India location. See here, I'm going to create a VM. Manually I'm going to create. I'll not use PowerShell. See carefully guys. In the same okay, VM name I'm going to pass as a VM01 in Center India location. I'm not going to make any changes in the size level. India at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. India at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not going to make any changes here. Network I'm going to change as a VNet. Okay. Other changes I'm not going to touch, and quickly I'm going to provision the machine in center location. Okay, so here okay, this is your cloud. Okay, Logic app. I'm going to create an instance of the Logic app in center India location. Okay, and see here in this case also Azure website.net. So if you remember in Azure function, in Logic app, in app service, everywhere the URL will be the common. That's why it is very easily integrating internally. It's the same family services. Here suppose Logic app name is control. Okay, control room. Where I'm going to create in center India location. You guys can select. If you are looking to control your network through the network, then you guys can go with the standard. Otherwise, you guys can go with the consumption plan. If it is not widely used, so working the pay as whenever you're going to execute, then only. If you're not executing, you don't need to pay anything for it. I'm going to tag under POC environment, and your Logic app is almost ready. See the logo. Last time, this is the logo of the Logic app, but once you get it, the logo will be app service logo. See here, as of now, Microsoft haven't changed the logo at this level. So this is a control room. And see here, this is app service logo. Same thing, if I'm going to reprint, the logo will change here. See here, same service, same resource. Here with the app service logo and here with the Logic app logo. What I'm doing here, Microsoft will give you, as I said, they will give you a GUI interface. Just go plug and play. What I'm planning, suppose whenever a new message is received to Outlook, you want to take some action. Whenever new post, okay, again these connectors or triggers, there's some documentation available from Microsoft. I would suggest you guys, in case you are planning to use any of the connector, just follow the documentation provided by Microsoft. Region, whatever this is out of the box solution created by them. It required some parameter. What parameter required, or all the detail format and everything, you guys will get from the connector details. Suppose guys, what I'm going to use the connector when HTTP request received. When HTTP request is received, okay, This is the trigger point. And method I'm going to use, suppose get method. So whenever someone is going to request to my URL, this is the condition. So what I want, suppose I have a VM. I have VM or I have VMs skill set. So if you remember, we already have covered the skill set. So suppose you have a call center. In call center, we have hundreds of VM. What you want to shut down all the VM in single go. Then you guys can select the skill set. Yeah, power of VM skill set. In my condition, I don't have the skill set. I have the single standalone VM available. I'm going to use it. Okay, here we have to sign in. Okay, let me sign in. Default engineer is my IT. It's going to authenticate. Here, this is your subscription. You have to select the subscription. Under it, you have to select the resource group. In this resource group, I have created a VM. Name is VM01. Sometimes there may be a chance that it may not detect. Then you have to refresh it. If it is not detecting, then you may have to refresh it. This problem I have faced in past also. Next, I'm going to save it. What I'm doing, I'm going to run. See guys, I'm going to run this. What will happen? The machine was running. Let me show you. The machine was running, but what it will do, it will shut down the machine. This is my machine. Last time I started. Now see here is a stopping. So whenever I will request for the URL, the machine will stop automatically. For the time being, I'm going to generate a URL. In case you want to monitor, you guys can monitor it also. Here, click on the run with the payload. The URL I'm going to copy. So this URL you will get only if you're going to save. In case you want to pass some parameter also you guys can pass. So this is the URL that I'm going to copy. And what I'm planning, okay, let me start this first. So it's a stopped. For the time being, I'm going to start it. This link I'm going to share, Puneet, just after 30 minutes, can you please ping on this link? Not immediately,
Sure.
just wait for 30 seconds. When I'll say, then you have to ping. See guys,
Okay.
the machine is fine. Now you can click. Just click and let me know once it is clicked. I think you clicked, correct?
Yes.
It's stopping automatically. So here, as of now, I implemented one VM. In case you have skill set available, in this skill set you have hundreds of VMs available, you want to shut down all the VM on the scheduled time. That is also possible. Or what you can do, you guys can just develop a mobile app and create a two workflow. One to start the machine, second to stop the machine. Once in mobile, you can create two buttons, on and off. When you click on the on button, your machine will start automatically. When you click on the off button, the machine will stop automatically. Whether you're in a train or in your village, from anywhere, on click of one link or on click of one button, you guys can control everything. Or on click of a button, you want to move some data, you want to delete some resources, you want to do some other activity. For everything, they're offering hundreds of connectors. You have to check the connector. Just check which connector is looking for what type of parameter. Just go use the parameter and configure here. That's a very simple. Hopefully it will be clear to all of you. For tomorrow, I'm planning to start another session. Is called as the APIM. APIM, that's one of the most important and most useful service. API management. At the waiting time of one hour. So what I'll do before the session, I will create an environment so that we can save our time. Finally, once you feel you have completed your work, what to do? Just select the resource group and delete it. Otherwise, Microsoft will charge for it. See, today we created these many resources, and I'm going to delete it now. This is the other resource group. This also I'm going to delete. If anyone have any question, you can unmute. If no question, then we can conclude the session. Tomorrow before the session, around 9 o'clock, I will create a APIM so that I can save 1 hour. Otherwise, we have to create the APIM and wait for 1 hour. It requires the backbone infrastructure. The APIM required
अभी
backbone
इसमें
infrastructure.
इसमें एक सवाल, इसमें एक क्वेश्चन है, लॉजिक ऐप क्रिएट किया हमने, तो इसमें ये रिसोर्स ग्रुप क्रिएट करना पड़ता है, पहले से रिसोर्स ग्रुप क्रिएट है वो सेलेक्ट कर लो इसमें, लेकिन इसमें
This
अपने
totally
आप ही
up to you.
स्टोरेज अकाउंट भी क्रिएट, इसमें स्टोरेज अकाउंट भी क्रिएट कर देता है अपने आप ही, हमने कोई बताया नहीं या फिर
See,
बताया
lots
नहीं
of
बताया, वो
lots
स्टोरेज
of
अकाउंट ले लेता है
resources,
अपने आप ही.
lots of resources require the backbone infrastructure. Even in some of the cases, Microsoft exposing. In some of the other cases, they are not exposing. So wherever they feel it's required, they will give you. If it is not required, suppose in Azure, in case of Azure function also, I created the Azure function, but the connector or the flow that or trigger point I used, over there it is required. So depending on the business situation, Microsoft is offering.
तो फिर
Okay.
इसका पब्लिशिंग का भी है, डॉकर पब्लिशिंग में भी ये डॉकर कंटेनर और वर्कफ्लो बताता है, तो उसमें कैसे, पब्लिशिंग में क्या डिफरेंस है उस केस में?
Publishing, don't worry, just wait for a week. Docker start होने वाला है. In the same batch,
अच्छा,
Manoj is going to cover the Docker.
ओके ओके.
Maybe I'm
Okay,
not
okay.
sure
So
for next week, but definitely if next, either next week or next to next week, we are going to cover the Docker.
okay,
Okay,
so
so
ये
please
I'll
ये
share the
रॉबर्ट बनाता है.
sorry.
Atul, please share the PPT. Then we.
I will share. Give me some time. I have to share some other historical PPTs and PDF also. I'll share with you guys maybe today and another way. Okay. Thank you.
अच्छा, लॉजिक ऐप का रन टाइम स्टैक यहाँ पे नोड जेएस बता रहे हैं, तो ये सी शार्प का भी होता है क्या रन टाइम स्टैक इसमें? लॉजिक ऐप का जो रन टाइम स्टैक है वो यहाँ पे नोड जेएस बता रहा है ये, तो वो इसका रन टाइम केवल नोड जेएस में ही चलेगा?
पीछे वो नोड जेएस यूज करता होगा,
और सी शार्प का मतलब नहीं चल पाएगा, यानी कि लॉजिक ऐप जो है फंक्शन ऐप की तरह नहीं, मतलब सी शार्प नहीं चला सकते उसमें, नोड जेएस
मैं तो
चलता
आपको
है,
पहले बोला था.
ऐसा है
मैंने
क्या?
क्या बोला था आपको? 3 बार मैंने दिखाया, एक्सप्लेन भी किया कि in case of Azure function, it's providing varieties of programming languages and scripting form. In this case, it is not. They are providing some out-of-the-box solution. You have to go with it. Maybe in future they will provide, but as of now they are not. Anyway, so guys, let's conclude session. Bye everyone.